Am I a narcissist? Are you wondering, thinking, concerned that you might be a narcissist or that you might have narcissistic traits? You see, if you've been in a toxic relationship, if you've been with someone that it seems really crazy, the highs, the lows, the ups and downs, the back and forth, the breaking up, getting back together, oscillating between the idealization, devaluation, like if you've been with someone where that relationship just seems crazy, you might be wondering today, am I the narcissist? If you guys don't know who I am, my name is Ben Taylor. I am a narcissist, so I answer yes to that question. I'm a self-aware narcissist on this platform to provide healing, growth, and change. I want to have people be aware of what narcissism actually is, the destruction that it causes in people's lives, how it destroys relationships, families, workplace environments, like you name it. Like it destroys so many different things. And I want to provide that awareness to everybody out there, to people that think they're narcissistic, to people that have been abused by narcissists, and to full-blown narcissists out there, just to help them wake up any way that I can. On this channel, with providing healing, growth, and change, I'm on here on YouTube, also TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, to try to drop little nuggets of truth every single day to be able to say, hey, this is what it is, to try to help people understand what it looks like. Narcissism doesn't look like what it does in a textbook, and how it actually transcends into the real world oftentimes can catch people off guard. This is why you have psychologists and therapists that know this stuff that sometimes fall prey into a narcissistic relationship because it looks different than the real world. That's the consensus that I've talked with a lot of different therapists who've come through or who've done one-on-ones with me. Anyways, you might be wondering, am I a narcissist? You might be wondering, is that something that is inside me? Or did I cause that? Or did someone else cause that? It's a lot of different thoughts that go through people's heads. Sometimes you have it in the relationship where you're thinking, am I a narcissist? Because the other person is constantly calling you that and is constantly telling you that. And if that's true, then go seek help and get a coach and get someone who's in therapy, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, like anybody to be able to say like, hey, is this me? What am I looking at? Like, am I struggling with this? Start doing your research. Start reflecting on yourself to see, hey, do I resemble these qualities? Do I resemble this personality type? It's something that I need everyone to be able to take a deep look at themselves and a deep look at what they're doing, how they're acting, how they're responding, how they're taking accountability, how they're taking responsibility, because it's so crucial for everyone out there to work on healing, growing, and changing in all aspects of life. Whether you're a victim, a survivor, whether you're a narcissist or an abuser, everybody can have a chance to heal, grow, and change on any level. So I'd ask you first off to just do that. Sometimes when people talk about, am I a narcissist? The first thing that people say is, well, if you're asking that, then you're probably not. Or they say, like, if you're watching this video, then you're not a narcissist. Like, when it comes down to it, like, you never know. And there's a lot of times that our videos get sent all over the world, and there's people that'd be like, hey, I think you're a narcissist, watch this video, and then they watch the video and they're like, well, I'm not a narcissist because I'm watching the video. Like, just take it with a grain of salt and understand that, like, we can't put everybody in a box. And there's some people that are narcissistic that do watch the videos or do ask those questions. Is it rare? Yeah, it's rare, because a narcissist doesn't like self-reflection, and a narcissist doesn't like to look at themselves and say, who am I actually inside? But you might be wondering, am I the narcissist? I've been in a toxic relationship. It feels awful. It feels crazy. Like, am I the narcissist? Well, one thing you have to be able to acknowledge and be able to see is where reactive abuse falls in. A lot of times when we talk about reactive abuse, it's where someone in the relationship is pushing you to the edge of your sanity, to the edge of what you're willing to tolerate, and they keep pushing you farther, 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 until finally you just snap and you just break. So a lot of times when that happens, you'll respond negatively, or you'll respond the same way that that person typically does to you. Maybe you're a person that normally doesn't yell or rage, and all of a sudden you find yourself acting out of character to this person because you're experiencing reactive abuse. Oftentimes when this happens, people start thinking, maybe I'm the toxic one. Maybe I'm the person, because they get pushed to that edge. All of a sudden they snap, and then the person's like, see? Like, you're the abusive one. Like, you're the one. Like, this is the reason why we struggle. This is the reason why we struggle with communication. This is the reason why I struggle with who I am, like where we are. Like, they'll turn the blame around on you so quick and so easy that it starts to mess with your head. Other times in the relationships, it'll start to mess with your head because of how the other person is already manipulating the situation. They're playing victim. when you're not placating to their demands, when you're not giving in to the things that they want and desire, whether that's, how you live, how you act, how you are in bed, whatever it might be, and they start making you out to be the abuser when they're in fact the ones being abusive. How often do you find yourself in the relationship apologizing for something that you didn't do? Apologizing for something that the other person did to you, and then you end up going back? How oftentimes do you end up apologizing for something that the other person's been stonewalling you for, or giving you the silent treatment, and you don't have a clue of what you even did wrong? A lot of times in these situations, people start to doubt and start to wonder, am I a narcissist? Probably the third way that people normally think about, am I a narcissist, is actually after the relationship. Once the relationship is said and done and they see the next person in the narcissist's life or in the person's life they were with, and they see the next person that they get with. Typically, this is what we call new supply. When the narcissist goes to another person, they have new supply. And as a result, they put all their eggs in that one basket and they put up a giant mask and a giant production to be able to show you and the rest of the world that they finally found their soulmate and that the person they were with before, being you, was an awful person. This is why a lot of times we say block, ghost, go no contact, because it's so crucial for you to make sure that you avoid the production that they're going to produce, because that is meant for you and for other people to manipulate and to proclaim to everyone that they're great, when in reality they haven't changed at all. They're just hiding it under a new mask. When this happens, people start to ruminate over that relationship. They start to ruminate over everything that happened, and they start to wonder, am I the narcissist? Because they seem happy with them. They seem like they have a great relationship, loving. Like, they don't seem like he's abusing her or she's abusing him. Like, maybe it's me. And that's when you have to go back and you have to start looking at the facts of the situation. We have to start writing down the truth of everything that happened in that situation to be able to say, like, hey, what actually happened? How does this actually align with who you are, with what you did in the relationship? So oftentimes people think that it's their fault. And then when they go back and they start listing out different things, they start realizing it wasn't their fault at all, because they didn't force that person to lie to them. They didn't force that person to cheat on them or to not respect them or devalue them or anything like that. But so often the mind wants to switch it, and the mind wants to say, hey, this is your fault, or this is because of you. A lot of times it's because we want to be able to control and be able to say, hey, like, it's me, not someone else. When it comes down to it, if you're looking back on the relationship and you're ruminating, you're thinking about it, you're wondering what's actually going on, a couple things. One, write down truth. Start journaling. Start writing down what actually happened in that relationship, because it's crucial to know what actually happened. So often we look at the peaks, the high parts, and we ignore the valleys of the relationship thinking it wasn't that bad, when in reality it was. Number two is write down everything that you changed in the relationship. Write down what the other person in the relationship changed for you. What you'll find a lot of times is you will lose the majority of your personality, your self-confidence, your self-worth changing to be a certain way for another person, and then they don't make any accommodations or changes for you. And as a result, you start realizing you've lost almost everything to this person, and this person didn't put any investment in at all. Another thing, number three, that I would ask you to actually look at is how often were you compared or compared to another person? It's called triangulation. So it could be compared to that person's mom or mother-in-law, or it could be compared to another girlfriend in the past or in the present, like a friend that's around. It could be compared to the kids or whatever it might be. How often were you compared to them or used as leverage in one sense of like, well, they wouldn't do this to me like you're doing it? Oftentimes that can be like a sign too of, hey, you're not the narcissist, but this is happening in your life. So what I do with people on a day-to-day basis, when I do one-on-ones over Zoom calls across the globe, talking to people, trying to help them understand what's actually happening in the relationship, because that rumination that sparks the trauma bond, that sparks a lot of different things that are happening that you get confused about, is something that people need help a lot of times working through. It's not just enough to have the information. It's not just enough to know about narcissism or know what a trauma bond is or know what cognitive dissonance is. It's like, how do you put all the pieces together? There's so many people that on TikTok, on Instagram, on social media platforms, they get all the pieces and they're sitting there being like, I'm really intelligent. I should understand this of how to fix myself. And they don't, because they have all the information, but they don't know how to apply it. They don't know how to put it into a system that helps them actually rewire their minds. That's what I work with people on a day-to-day basis, to help them on the flip side of the abuse, to be able to work through how to rewire your mind, restructure what you're thinking, so that you're not constantly getting triggered going back to someone that you know you don't want to be with, or going back to a toxic person that you know was abusive and that caused you stress, that caused you anxiety, that wasn't aligned with your goals, with your vision, with your values, or who you wanted to be, but just wanted to get something from you. If that's you, I'd love to be able to talk to you, love to be able to reach out to you. There's a link down below, or you can go to rawmotivations.com to be able to see a little bit more, read a couple testimonials of people that I've worked with, because I want to be able to help you find that awareness, growth, healing, and change on a day-to-day basis in your life today.